The UEFA Champions League continues its run as we've, been so involved in this tournament, making our predictions beforehand and just seeing how these major, massive clubs play out. And this specific match week, man, some insane matchups.
Damn.
Some insane matchups, some insane results. Something crazy is in the air right now. Football is on a goddamn high right now. Mm-hmm. And I think we saw it with the Newcastle United versus PSG match at St. James Park, which to me was as loud as I have ever seen it in my 28 years of life. Qatari money against Saudi Arabian money going head to head here, bro. A clash of the Titans. Newcastle United trashed PSG 4-1. I mean, what a fucking game, dude. What a fucking game. Insane goals from Newcastle. Almiron getting on the board. Fabian Schär scoring a goal.
Dude, Dan Burn scoring a banger,
dude.
Sean Longstaff also with a really good finish.
These names are crazy.
Nice
bro.
little slip shot right in the corner. Keeper couldn't handle it. My God.
I can't believe it.
That's what I'm saying.
I can't believe we're saying these names in the Champions League context against a team that has a lot of money behind them and PSG. And PSG honestly solidifying the concerns, the anxiety, and the thoughts we've had about them since before the transfer window even started, bro.
Yeah, man. That's why I was so pissed that people were so high on them after the first match week, because I'm like, guys, let them play a good team first. Then you make a decision. They're struggling in League One. They got killed at St. James Park, and I just think this is the worst PSG team in 10 years.
Yeah, and on the other flip side, Newcastle United finally starting to show those signs of the team that I was hoping for would make an appearance this season.
Yeah.
Especially since, and I remember a shoot a couple weeks ago when they were going on that weird start to the season. Since that moment, they've defeated Man City in the Carabao Cup, which was very notable. They've gone on a winning streak or undefeated streak in the Prem specifically, I think out of 4 or 5 games so far. Yeah. And then Champions League, they tied away from home against AC Milan and then got this victory against PSG. They're finding their form again is what I'm saying. And it makes me really happy because Newcastle United was a team that I was really high on. I think I went so far as putting them in the top 5 of the Premier, maybe top 4, I believe. And so I'm happy to see them finally get that resurgence back into them with a result like this. Fucking crazy, bro. Fucking crazy.
Yeah, I thought they completely executed the game plan to perfection, man. Like, they didn't let PSG breathe at all for the full 90 minutes, and it was the vintage Newcastle that we would hope to actually see out this season, man, where they get the ball and they just go, and they have so many different avenues of attack, so much pace, and just so much drive, and especially with that crowd behind you. I thought Newcastle this was an amazing performance from Newcastle.
Amazing. Anything to be said about Mbappe here?
I've been trying to think of something.
Yeah, is there anything to be said? Because a lot of criticism came Mbappe's way for essentially going ghost in this game, not really doing much. Man, Mbappe is such an enigma to me, man. 25 years old, one of the best in the world, playing in the 4th, 5th best league in the world right now, still hasn't made that move. Trying to do something special for this Parisian side, but not finding success truly in Europe. And then having games like this every now and then where just things don't go his way. Is it more to Newcastle's credit, or does Mbappe deserve some criticism here?
I almost want to take a different approach here and kind of say that I think Mbappe's going through something. I've seen his performances here and there this start of this season. He doesn't look the same. He really doesn't. And I just mean from like the old clinical self where he's, can score a goal a game, because that is his level. Yeah. And that's not there right now. It just simply isn't. And I think it goes back to that point. I think he's realizing that he's with a project that's basically started over. And he was never really a part of that reset, right? When he joined PSG, he was on the rise, coming from Monaco, coming from a semi-final Champions League appearance, and then the move to PSG was to win a Champions League with Neymar. You get a player like Messi, you complete that. Never happened. And the Madrid sagas that has happened in the last 2 off seasons, I think is just messing with everybody's heads. Mbappe's included. And I think the team that he sees around him now, I don't know if he's motivated, bro.
I truly don't think so, because remember the beginning of the season, bro, he wasn't there for their first game. He basically showed up late, right? Because he was still like in contention of like wanting to leave. He had some weird discussion with the president or owner of PSG. Yeah. There was this weird energy in the air. So he actually, I don't even know if he got benched or if he was even on the bench, but he didn't play the first match for PSG. I mean, just imagine that. Imagine a group project where you guys start a week before it's due and a guy pulls up like halfway through the week. Yeah. What does that say about his commitment to the project? That's not good. That's not positive. I think Mbappe almost has this like feeling of like, fuck, dude. Yeah. If this is how it's gonna look for the rest of the season, maybe it's not worth putting my full effort into. And you see him pull off a performance like this where he is fucking gone for 90 minutes straight, man. So I hope something comes from this. I hope he can maybe just find I hope he can find some motivation within himself to fucking improve. But what we're seeing right now is scary, man, because he is one of my favorite players in the world.
I know, man. That's why it's so disappointing, because every year I know I could get a show if I just watched PSG because I know Mbappe's on the pitch. We've talked about it before. Like, even though they had Neymar and Messi, it was Mbappe. You know, pre-World Cup, even a little bit post. Like, and PSG has always been Mbappe's team ever since he basically joined there. He's that good. And so it's just disappointing to see that he's kind of checked out. Or if he's not checked out, he's just not playing well. Yeah. It's just really disappointing to see, especially, you already said he's 25 years old. He has so much more to give at the highest level of European football. So to kind of see him just falter here with this PSG squad, it's super disappointing. Maybe he's going to try and like just force a transfer, like not play well. I don't know. Force it, but
I think it'll be next transfer window.
Yeah.
It'll be then, and he'll finally go to Real Madrid and get what he wants. But, God, dude, it basically feels like a whole year is being wasted here.
It's completely wasted, and that's why I was so disappointed he didn't make the move this transfer window, or honestly, the last transfer window, low-key. But, and then just when you really look at this PSG squad, I don't even know if Mbappe fits. I really don't think he does. The type of team that Enrique is trying to build is like that of just... You use the resources that you have at your disposal. You can buy a good player here like Ugarte. You can buy another player here. You can keep a player like Vitinha. But other than that, does like a superstar fit into this team? I actually don't think so. Man. And so I think right now the Mbappe and the PSG just not meshing.
Yeah, man. I was trying to watch Kolo Muani throughout this match, and I noticed that basically his role for this team is fill the space in which Mbappe isn't in. Because Mbappe is just constantly all around the offensive front line, right? He can be on the right, the left, or the middle. Moan is just looking at Mbappe the whole time, like, where the fuck are you going, bro? I'm gonna go the opposite way of you. I'm gonna try to find something else, because he might have too much of a pull, Mbappe, that ends up affecting this team, because Muani just doesn't know what he truly has to do out there, and Dembele is just always on the wings, just trying to create something. The offensive chemistry that they're trying to build right now is really weird. I don't know if Enrique Ball is a solution. Yeah. It still is technically early, but bro, I was disappointed because from a personal side, I was trying to see what Mbappe would look like in a Premier League context. And we got that technically with them facing off against Newcastle, but Mbappe didn't show up. And I wanted to see him put up, get a brace in this match, be a Premier League villain for one day. Didn't even get that sneak peek, bro. So fuck him, bro. Nah, I love Mbappe, but damn, dude. Damn.
Yeah, it's just disappointing is all I can really say.
I'm going to need that Atleti reaction from you, man. I'm going to need that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to need that. $10 a pop. Sell me that Atleti reaction right now, bro. What are you thinking, bro? Because this team, I've watched so much Atleti football for no goddamn reason, dude, in the past 2 weeks. And they've had a crazy, you could say, past 4 or 5 games. And it continued on with this match against Feyenoord.
This game was crazy, man. One of the most insane games I've ever seen. I'm not even talking about like the narrative points, like the goals. I'm just talking about from 0 to 90 minutes. This was one of the most enjoyable, competitive matches I've ever seen, man. It's one of those games where you really wish it didn't stop. Because, dude, it was just pure joy. I wasn't even in my body. It was kind of like a spiritual experience for me because I was just lost in the Metropolitano, bro. Lost. Hearing the Atleti chants that would just come in and out of the game. And then seeing the football on display, man. Like, every single player out on that pitch, whether they were for Feyenoord or for Atletico, had some sort of crazy moment. Whether it's just like a crazy touch, a really good pass, an insane dribble, or like a really good combination play, like every single player was on it that night for both Atletico and Feyenoord. What a game, bro. One of the... seriously, after the match ended, I was like, dude, we are blessed to be able to watch high-quality football at our disposal, because and it's not even that Arsenal lawns, we can talk about that later, like just what we can see. Beautiful. And that's what's crazy is that Atletico, Feyenoord, they're not going to win the league this year.
Okay, wait.
They're not going to win. They're not going to win the Champions League, bro.
Feyenoord's got something to play.
But the fact that they could entertain the way they did and the fans could get behind Atletico, and that we had a 5-goal thriller where Atletico never led once until they actually took the lead 3-2. The fact that we have that type of game in a group stage, man, it's just...
It's
ridiculous.
World Cup vibes, bro.
It's
like when a group stage match that between two teams that aren't contenders, it's just a shootout. It's just a great match. It's that same type of energy.
Yes.
But we're getting it like on a Tuesday, and that's what's nice about it. I see what you're trying to say.
In October.
October,
the
bro.
season just started a month ago.
Yeah.
And we're already seeing this. God, I just
insane.
couldn't believe what I saw. Atletico Feyenoord. It was just a crazy game, and it starts with Weda getting on the end of the ball. Oblak makes a good save off of the strike, but it crashes off of Mario Hermoso, who's also trying to get the ball. Own goal ultimately. Feyenoord take the lead early, and I start sweating, bro. I start sweating.
Because y'all just came off the same thing against Cadiz, where you conceded first, right?
Yeah.
Again with this shit, man.
It's again, but the thing is, I'm not surprised. I'm not really surprised by this from Atletico, because I don't see us as an elite team. I see us as a very good team. So when a team like Feyenoord comes to our home and starts off very strongly, I'm like, okay, we should have expected this. Why did we let that in? Like, let's pick up the pace, and we did. Once that goal came in, we kind of settled in, but it was still back and forth. Feyenoord just attack. I want to highlight Paixão, the Brazilian left winger. Holy shit, dude. He had a crazy game. Crazy. Trigger happy. He was just shooting from 20, 25 yards out, combining with his midfielders. Wiefer, I believe is his name. Also just incredibly good Dutch midfielder. There's so many good players on this Feyenoord team, bro. Seriously. But we forced their hand and get a really good goal from Morata. It was a through ball. Technically, it was offsides on the left.
What did you think about that?
Yeah, so I thought, honestly, it should have been offside. But then I heard the commentator.
The rule book.
And the way the commentator kind of explained it was, as a defender, you kind of have to know that the player you're trying to guard is offside. So if you bite for the ball and it never even gets close to the player, it's onside.
Yeah, the rule book says that if a play is made by a defender, then no matter where that player is, it can be off. But it does just seem kind of fucked up that ultimately that defender in that specific play got punished for defending, because a smart move would have been recognizing where his offensive player was and just letting the ball go through, which is just a crazy thing to accept. I think there's a little bit of a flaw there in that rule that needs to be fixed, because ultimately promoting defense and defenders to defend should be the motive here, especially with how much is against defenders already. The fact that ended up going in, I was like, that's harsh. That's a harsh goal to concede, because if he doesn't touch the ball, the player's offside.
Yeah, that point is definitely harsh. I agree with you, and that's why I initially thought it was offside. My only counter to that is he bit at it badly. Big time. Like, he was completely full stretch, shouldn't have gone for it if he didn't think he was going to get good contact on it, but he still did. And that's why I think the goal is fair, because at the end of the day, the defender should have known how to approach that ball, and he approached it in the worst way, essentially. So I think in a kind of fucked up way, he deserved to be punished. He deserved. And
he got punished, bro.
And Morata made sure he got punished, bro.
The Punisher.
Really good finish from Morata.
He's been good lately, man.
He's been fantastic, bro. And my whole take on Morata after this game, man, is that he does a lot bad, but I think he does more good. And I think you could describe that as his entire career.
Yeah.
He's done a lot. He's made a lot of mistakes.
I think he'd be a great player before the social media era, because I think he's one of those guys, almost like a De Gea or even like a Harry Maguire, who, because his lows can be so low, it gets highlighted even more. But when you truly look at his whole career and what he's achieved, Morata's good, bro.
He's fucking good.
It's like really good.
Yeah.
And if he played in the 2000s instead of the 2010s and 2020s, I think he'd be remembered as a much better player than how he's going to be remembered 10 years from now.
Yeah. I completely agree. Seriously, I love Morata, honestly. For as much as I hate it when he misses easy chances, but I hate it. I love him. At the end of the day, he was the actual number 9 replacement for Diego Costa. We have not had a better striker since Costa other than Alvaro Morata, and Morata has been there time and time again. But he's also not been there time and time again. That's kind of my point here. Very frustrating, but at the end of the day, I'm very happy to have him on my team, dude. Incredibly happy. Feyenoord ended up going up 2-1. I don't even want to talk about that fucking goal. It's just stupid, dude. It was stupid, man. Yeah. Oblak gets a little bit unlucky, but right before the half, Antoine Griezmann with a moment of pure instinctual brilliance, bro. The ball's flashing behind him. He has to turn his back to goal. And he notices the moment. He notices the window's incredibly narrow for him to actually find a way to score the ball, but he finds it. It's incredible. You watch this play, the way that ball flashes in front of Griezmann, the ball's right here at his head, right here. And in that moment, he says, I'm hitting this shit. And he hits it perfectly. A nice little bike, and it's 2-2. But it's just Antoine Griezmann, man.
What can you say, man? What can you say that hasn't been said?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
what can you say, man?
The instincts that man possesses, the way that he does it, his decision making, there never will be, and I don't think there ever has been a player like Antoine Griezmann.
Yeah.
And it's just insane to actually watch that man play because he's brilliant. And he's getting up there in age, but it doesn't matter because his instincts is unlike any other player. And he's still able to finish off the way that he does, dude. It's ridiculous, bro. It's ridiculous.
Throw him a tennis ball, he'll catch it without a racket. More instinctual than a lion. I don't even know. But the game goes on.
The game goes on, and we immediately start the second half with a brilliant cross from Nahuel Molina, bro. Look at this cross. If you haven't seen it, an incredible whipping ball. And honestly, pretty hard to deal with. But guess who does? Alvaro Morata with a crazy one-touch little finish to just guide it home. Feyenoord looked a little shell-shocked because honestly, I was surprised that we started off that way. 3-2, and I was like, all right, there's a lot more to be played. There's going to be more goals. But oddly enough, Atletico held strong. We definitely laid off the pedal offensively, and we just looked to be defensive. And Feyenoord ultimately, as the game went on, honestly got weaker. They got weaker. Calvin Stengs had a brilliant first half.
Stengs was good.
He had a really good first half, died down in the second half. Kind of the same thing with Peixão. And the midfielders, I think, ultimately, as that second half went on, they just got more tired and more tired. We kept hitting them, put bodies on them. And Diego Simeone on that touchline, conducting the crowd, bro, after that third goal went in. And for the rest of the second half,
it's crazy.
It's
crazy.
It's just crazy that there's a coach like Diego Simeone.
Yeah. Because imagine if there wasn't, who would actually be doing?
What other coach realistically does it?
That?
What other coach realistically does it to the extent that Simeone does?
Herrera. Emotionally.
Okay.
Emotionally.
Actually, yes.
Purely emotion.
Okay.
It's Herrera.
Okay. I agree. Actually,
that's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. You have Miguel Herrera and Diego Simeone, I think, are the only two coaches who honestly would truly die for the game.
You think, man, like let's say Simeone leaves, like, would Almeida be like a legit, like, would he have the qualities needed to be able to do what Simeone does?
Simeone is going to be in a wheelchair on that sideline, bro. He's going to be 102 years old. He's never leaving the technical area until he's dead.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. I'm just saying, at some point, you're going to need a rightful heir. Who's that going to be?
That rightful heir is 12 years old right now, bro. It's going to be a long time.
Holy shit.
It's going to be a long time. We don't even know who he is, bro.
But it is actually pretty crazy knowing about your Atleti fandom, knowing about just how emotional you're about it, how much you watch these games, that you haven't gone to the Metropolitana yet.
Yeah.
And you got a football show now. Like, that's got to be on the priority list.
It definitely is.
Footballing things you need to do soon, bro.
Yeah, no, soon, 100%. It's just money, time. It's tough job podcast. Fuck, man. You have to fucking remind me. Dude.
Head up, champ. Head up.
It's a sad reality sometimes, bro. It's a sad reality, but. Look, man, if I can cheer my team on and we get a 3-2 win in the UEFA Champions League, this is what I was talking about. Do you remember? I said this a couple of weeks ago. I was
What'd
like,
you say?
I really miss those big Champions League nights where Atleti
yeah.
actually win. And this felt like that. This felt like vintage 2016 where we put up a hell of a fight. We have a crazy good opponent, but we come out victorious, bro. I honestly haven't felt something like this in a really, really long time when it comes to Atletico and Champions League. This was ridiculous. I'm having a tough time even verbalizing my entire experience because, yes, I'm describing exactly what I felt, but I felt everything that I'm saying, but 10 times more on that Tuesday night, bro. 10 times more than what I'm saying right now. And it was a crazy experience. Atletico get a really, really good win. Honestly, for Feyenoord, though, if I'm being unbiased, a little pissed you didn't get a result. I'll be honest. Feyenoord deserved a draw. I'll be honest.
And I think the only thing missing from the game was my fix of Santi Jimenez, man. I wish he could have been a part of this to see what would have happened.
And I think he could have been the key to Feyenoord getting a result. I really do think so because for as good as Ueda was off the runs, he doesn't have as much of physical presence. Santi really does have that physical attribute to him, and I think he's starting to get very good at finishing. So I think Santi definitely could have added a lot more to this game, whether starting or off the bench. Unfortunately, he had the red card, but it just is what it is. But next time in Feyenoord in November, that's going to be a crazy good game.
See you there. Meanwhile, Liverpool beats Gillowice in the Europa League. Fucking hell. Sounds nice, bro.
That's a different...
Yeah. Sounds nice what you're going
That's
through,
a different tournament, man.
Let's stay in the Champions League. Real quick, I have a take about Manchester City, right? We love Manchester City. We predicted them to win this tournament. So what did I take away from them defeating RB Leipzig 3-1? Rico Lewis was a part of this match.
Oh, nice.
Rico Lewis got a start. Now, you didn't watch this game, did you?
I did not see this game, no.
Can you guess where Rico Lewis played this match? Guess, bro. Guess what position he played.
Fuck, okay. I wish I could see... I'd be cheating. Like, who's on the bench so I could see where Pep might have placed him.
Right.
If I just have to initially guess...
We've seen him in the back line. We've seen him in midfield. We've seen him up top. Where do you think he ultimately played this match?
I'm going to say midfield. I'm going to say center mid.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going center
well,
midfield.
that's pretty close.
Okay.
That's pretty close. He played... Almost, it was hella forward.
Like attacking.
He was an attacking player. In my opinion, he was part of the front three this time.
Okay.
Almost playing like as a 10, just behind the 9, feeding in balls.
He can do it.
But he can do it.
He can do it.
He continues his ascension. And what I realized watching him just do what he does, such a courageous player, so brave, despite his small size and stature, he was born in a goddamn pocket. He must have been his mother was a kangaroo because he was born in a pocket and he finds himself thriving in these small spaces. Yeah. But I realized, bro, what Rico Lewis is to Manchester City is what Camavinga is to Real Madrid. Fluid, versatile, creative players that can literally play anywhere on the pitch. And it's just it's the biggest signifier of where we are in football today, bro. 2023, these are the type of players that are almost necessary for a team to go deep in the Champions League now. You got to have one of them. One player that is able to do almost every single damn thing on the pitch at an elite level in whatever position that is needed. Rico Lewis is going to become that for Manchester City because they need him to be offensive today, and he did exactly that. By the weekend, we might see him play as a fucking left back. And it's just ridiculous because the same can be said about Camavinga and how he shifts between that back line and going to the midfield. And I think we're just going to continue to see Rico Lewis ascend to that level because it's Manchester City and it's what they do. Julian Alvarez getting on the board here once again, doing amazing things. We already highlighted him. Nothing to be said there. But Manchester City gets the 3-1 win away from home, and they're looking as good as ever. I feel confident, bro. I feel confident in our Champions League pick here so far.
No, we should, and people should start already thinking about Manchester City making a very, very deep run all the way to the final. But about Rico Lewis, that's actually a really good point because, most times when you have to use a player that can that has a secondary position, you're usually not happy to do it. You're usually like, shit, okay, I have to use my center back and the left back today because our left back's out, right? He can do it, and he'll do a good job. He can play for 90 minutes, but you would rather have your starting left back there. When Rico plays in any position for Manchester City, I'm never disappointed in his performances.
So far, no.
Never, bro. Even if he makes a couple of mistakes, I'd say overall, he always puts in like a minimum 7 out of 10, 7.5 out of 10 performance in whatever said position Pep tells him to play. It's ridiculous how good he is no matter where he is on the pitch.
One of the most brutal starts to a Champions League debut that I've seen. Union Berlin conceding 2 back-to-back last-minute game winners or game-tying goals. Once again, against Braga, going up 2-0 behind goals from Suriname legend, Geraldo Becker, doing amazing things for this Union Berlin crowd in the Olympiastadion in Germany. Braga comes back into the match, and they win it with a beautiful outside-the-box finish by, I believe Castro was his name. Makes it 3-2. The takeaway here is Union Berlin's getting fucked, dude. They're getting fucked. And this like, brutal, bro. Brutal. Conceding a late-minute goal to Jude Bellingham just last week to tie the match. It's just tough. And that's all I wanted to say. That's all I got to say. That's Champions League football. But I want Union Berlin fans to just be aware that, like, we know we see what's happening, bro. We see what's happening. You've done great so far. But, sometimes it just doesn't go your way. Because you have other stories, like RC Lens, for example, fucking taking it to Arsenal, bro, and winning 2-1 at home despite all the odds, despite the names and the players on this Arsenal team. This French side that is nowhere near as good this year as they were last year found a fucking way to get a result here and defeat Arsenal, man. Beautiful thing to see.
Watching that Lens Arsenal game, and this happens to me from time to time, but this game made me jealous.
Of who? Of what?
Of Europeans, man. Really, really did.
Dude, I think every week that I'm watching these games, I'm getting more and more jealous.
There are times, and Tuesday was one of them, where I just wish I was French. I wish I was raised in Lens.
Yeah.
I wish my dad was a season ticket holder at Lens, and I saw my first game when I was 3 years old at that same stadium that they just beat Arsenal at. I wish I could understand that culture that they have, because what an atmosphere.
Yeah.
What an atmosphere. And they get that every home game in the French league. And the fact that they were able to play Champions League and host Arsenal and win 2-1, like, a historic night in Lens.
Historic.
And the football that was played is stuff of dreams, man. It's the 2 goals that Lens scored through Thomasson and then Wahi. I know the Thomasson was getting talked a lot, but Wahi's just as good, bro. Bangers, bro. And so deserving of a win against a very good Premier League side. Lens showed up that day, but so did the crowd, bro, because, my God. And that's expected, though. That Lens crowd is always there. And we were hoping that Lens could try to emulate something from last season. But El Wahi, bro, their newest signing from Montpellier, their biggest, like the second biggest signing from one French team to the other. Dude, he's 20 years old.
Youngin'.
And he's French.
Yeah.
it helps. Further solidifying our idea of French players just are really, really good right now. Yeah. And El Wahi had an incredible one-time finish to take the lead 2-1. Thomasson's beautiful curl to equalize 1-1. Lens completely deserved it. For Arsenal, though, man, they do this.
Yeah.
They did this last year in the Europa League, where they honestly underwhelmed against Sporting. And a decade ago under Arsene Wenger, when they were going Champions League, they would always have weird results, bro. Mm-hmm. They couldn't really find consistency the way that Real Madrid do, or the way that Manchester City is right now. For as good as Arsenal are, they have some weird European results.
Remember the Graham Potter, when he was coaching in Sweden or something? He led that Swedish team to defeat Arsenal at the Emirates Stadium in the Europa League of like the first leg or something. They lost the second leg, but Arsenal was a part of a losing effort against a much lesser team of quality. like over, I don't know, 7 years ago or some shit. And it does happen, bro. It's like trademark for them. But I'll be honest, bro, I don't think I'm worried about it this year.
I don't think I am either.
Yeah.
I think they will figure it out. They're going to get the results. They're going to get out of the group stage. It's just kind of annoying knowing the caliber and quality that they play at the weekend in the Premier League, and then to just kind of consistently see them play weird matches in Europe. It's very strange to see. And again, I do want to credit Lens here because they deserve the win and they have that type of quality when they're on it. Like, I'm not saying that Arsenal should beat every single team or that the Premier League is that much better, but Arsenal are better than what they played against Lens. They're much better than what they played. Honestly, I think they just got caught on that Lens vibe and they're like, oh shit, what do we do here? I think that's what happened. It might happen again. I don't know if it'll happen against Lens, but it might happen again. But I'm still going to back Arsenal's quality. They just need to find it.
Yeah, I think a result like this, I know it may sound biased. I don't know what it is, but I just don't feel as much gravity attached to this loss as I do, for example, like a Man U losing to Galatasaray at home. I think there's a different context to what's happening around the team, the players, the coaches. I really do think they were just caught off guard almost by this team, specifically Lens, who is accustomed to doing this and has been doing this for over 365 days now. Yeah. Because they did the exact same thing to Messi, Neymar, Mbappe, PSG just last year at home. So I'm not truly that surprised by what Lens was able to do because they are capable of that. Whereas for Galatasaray, I think it's pretty rare because it was their first victory on English soil in Turkey's history, right? Not just Galatasaray, but a Turkish club winning in English soil. Yeah. So I think there's a difference there, and I think that's why I wanted to make a point of differentiating both of these losses by Premier League clubs. Arsenal will be okay, but more than anything, RC Lens, absolute beautiful effort, man. And you got to be proud if you're a fan. The question now becomes then, can they make it out of the group, bro?
I think they have a good chance.
Yeah.
They've started with this win. You get 3 massive points, and you can use that to jumpstart a decent run here.
And they tied Sevilla last week. So they're actually at 4. And Sevilla, I think, ended up tying against PSV.
Yeah, they did.
And so Lens is actually in second. Sevilla is set for that Europa League spot. I mean, everybody wins here, bro. Everybody wins here.
Everybody wins. Lens gets Champions League football. Sevilla gets the Europa League. Jesus.
I've been highlighting Galatasaray a little bit, bro.
I know. And right? When I saw that they're playing Man U, I was like, oh, perfect timing.
Yeah. Let's do this thing, right? And I felt the same way, too, seeing them scheduled to face off against them. I mentioned the players that they got this transfer window. They're the Turkish team that stands out to me the most this season. They tied last week, coming back from being down 2-0 in a game in which I thought they should have won given the talent, but they didn't end up playing that well. They're coming to Old Trafford now to essentially spoil the party for a Manchester United side that has been completely disappointing to start off the season. Yeah. And they win. Galatasaray wins, dude. And they win in fucking style behind goals from Wilfried Zaha, Mauro Icardi, and completely shutting down the excitement that was built throughout the game behind Rasmus Højlund getting a brace for Manchester United and scoring his first goal at home. A lot of talk here about Onana. A lot of talk here about Erik ten Hag. A lot of talk here about Manchester United overall. But Galatasaray, bro, is now, I believe, in first place in this group. And they're living up to the crazy potential I didn't know that they were capable of living up to, which is the ability to beat a Premier League team at home.
Yeah, it's so sweet to see. And what's funny is that I've actually seen a Galatasaray team kind of do this before, way back, like, I don't know, between like 2013 and 2015. They had players like Didier Drogba, Wesley Sneijder, and they had this really good Turkish-German player, Hamit Altintop. Baller. Absolute baller. And not just that, but the rest of that team was really, really good. I think they made it. They had a really good Champions League campaign like one year. I think they got to the round of 16 and crashed out then. But they had such a really fun team with some good Turkish players, but also some high-profile foreigners too, like Drogba, for example. So we've seen Galatasaray do this before. It's few and far between when they do, but it's kind of cool to see them do it once again with players like Mauro Icardi, Wilfried Zaha, Aktürkoğlu, who got a really good goal against Manchester United this past week. So it's so cool to see Galatasaray, a Turkish team, playing amongst the best in Europe. It's beautiful to see, dude.
Let's get to the nitty gritty then. Was Onana necessary?
Like in life?
Oh, bro. As a transfer, goddammit. I don't know the guy. No, as a transfer. What? Sorry, yeah, that was crazy. No, was he necessary to replace? Was it necessary to replace De Gea with Onana?
This is what I said at the beginning of the season. When I highlighted that, yes, De Gea's leaving on somewhat of a low for Manchester United, but when you look at his entire career, he's one of the best Man United keepers of all time. And even at his lows, De Gea was still an incredible goalkeeper. And so I was actually a little surprised that they were letting him go because, for a team that's in constant turmoil, De Gea's like the only guy who's always like the same, even if he's lost a little bit of form. Getting Andre Onana, I understood because he was a goalkeeper back in Italy. I got it. But my God, dude, he's been really, really poor.
It's gone bad.
It's gone really, really bad. Yeah. You don't like to see it, honestly. The mistake he made, the mistake he made at midweek was stupid. It was stupid. It just completely avoidable. Should not have happened, especially at this level. It was really, really poor.
Yeah,
really poor.
Losing the ball in possession and then completely getting chipped by Mauro Icardi. And then last week, I remember against Bayern, he had a mistake as well where the ball Leroy Sané shot a shot from outside the box, and it was an easy save, but he just let it go through him. It's already there's already compilations of those Onana mistakes being compiled, and it just makes me wonder: was it truly necessary? I don't think it truly was. I do feel that maybe a change was necessary. I just don't know if Onana specifically, because I do think the Champions League run last year really hyped him up way more beyond what he actually was capable of, because I remember watching him in the build-up to the World Cup because he was slated to be Cameroon's starting goalkeeper, and I always thought he was good. I thought he was solid, especially with how well he played at Ajax and then going on to play for Inter. But Man United quality, knowing how people are going to be eyeing the goalkeeping position specifically, I don't know if he's that guy. Maybe he eventually becomes that, but right off the bat, when the way I've seen other goalkeepers come into these big teams and really find a way to, hold their own, I'm not seeing that for Onana so far, man. Yeah. And I just wonder if they went for the wrong keeper in the transfer market.
Yeah, I honestly, I'm curious to see how he does this month of October. Can he turn it around? Because he has to start turning around now.
I think so.
It's been too many back-to-back strings of weird and really poor mistakes. He has to fix it now. So I'd say the next 3 games, he's basically has to have mistake-free games. Even if they lose or get conceded on,
fine.
It's fine. He just cannot make any more mistakes.
Yeah, I think about a guy like Vicario, the Tottenham goalkeeper, coming from Italy as well for way cheaper, but when you compare the both of them right now, I think shot-stopping ability and just overall confidence in the net, I think it's like day and night, bro. Yeah. The difference that we're seeing right now with Vicario thriving for Tottenham. So it'll be interesting to see how Vicario plays in that replay between Liverpool and Tottenham so that we can get our point back. But overall, pretty crazy that Onana starting, bro.
The only positive I can really give Manchester United in this loss is I think Rasmus Højlund officially arrived.
Yes.
Officially. 2 really good goals, and goals that honestly, I don't know if an average striker could finish. I'll be completely honest.
He had that offside goal that I thought was really clean as well.
Oh, yeah. That was a dirty,
that,
dirty finish.
Crispy-ass body shift. That was insane. Finish, I was like, fuck, dude, that was clean. Yeah. That was clean. That takes a lot of skill to be that composed, that close to the goal. And he has it, bro. He does have it.
I think he's got it. And so to see him really hit the scene at Old Trafford, scoring 2 really good, big goals, I was like, oh, okay. Højlund can play. And let's see if he can just do it on a more consistent basis. That's essentially the only question I have. He's going to improve, and I think, honestly, this is actually a good signing if this is what's to come.
Yeah, I was hesitant about him just being that he got like 9 goals instead he had last year.
Right.
20 years old. I didn't know if he was going to be that guy, and I still think it's a little early, but
It is.
He's showing good signs, and it's tough to show good signs in this current Man United squad. So props to him. I do like how he's playing so far. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, and one last thing about this game. In the build-up to this, you know, the first thing that came to my mind was Wilfried Zaha's going back to England to play a match. It's just like that.
Just like that.
We're in first week of October. He's back in England. He's back at Old Trafford. And it was just brilliant that he scored that goal. For the first goal for Galatasaray. And a weird one, definitely a weird one, but he uses his body, got big in the box, ultimately wills that ball into the back of the net. And I just thought it was pure poetry, man, for him to get. I loved it, bro. And we had brought up the point when we were talking about transfers is it worth it for you to leave a Premier League side to go to a Turkish team or a Turkish equivalent, right? Because it's so different. England is the spotlight of European football domestically. But you go to Turkey, you get Champions League football if you're on the right team. And so, you know, is that a good trade? Is that the good give and take? BT Sport had Wilfried Zaha on the post-match reaction. And he said, he basically confirmed, he confirmed what we had initially said, that he went to Galatasaray for Champions League. And he said that even though Crystal Palace was amazing, the Premier League is the best league in the world, he said it was worth it to just have a chance to play Champions League.
That's awesome.
And he scored.
Yeah.
And he scored.
Yeah.
And he said, and he finished it with something that's so simple, but I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. He said, the reason why I want to go to Champions League is because it determines if you're good or not.
Damn.
It's crazy.
Holy shit.
He's right, bro. Like, you're not, realistically, in the grand scheme of things, if you're not playing in the Champions League, probably not that good.
Yeah, and even if you're on a small team and you make Champions League like RC Lens or whatever, if you find a way to thrive within that squad, those Champions League teams will notice, like Minamino did with RB Salzburg a couple years ago. Like, that is where you showcase ultimately your skill.
Yeah.
And he chose Galatasaray because they gave him that platform.
Yep.
Whereas with Crystal Palace, bro, he's not going to get that for another 28 years, man. Like, that's not going to happen.
It's not.
And so I definitely have come around on it. I think that was by far the smarter decision. Yeah. Galatasaray in Turkey or Crystal Palace mid-table in England. I'm going Galatasaray, bro. Especially if they got Champions League football.